All right, John.
Hello.
You know, sometimes, despite all the paperwork and endless problems, something reminds me why I like this job.
Oh, I could do with a bit of that. Do tell.
Well, you know the two students we've got on work experience?
Eddie and Suzanne from Hollyoaks High School?
Yeah, that's right. I thought you hadn't even noticed they were here.
I always notice when we've got extra people in who can help.
Cynic. Well, as you know, I'm a big fan of work experience, and these two, they're real stars. They're switched on, they're hard-working, they're great with the residents.
Remind you of you at that age?
Oh, I wish. They're far more clued up about the reality of working in our sector than I ever was. I was your classic thrown in at the deep end entrant to adult social care.
Ditto, the good old sink or swim school. Didn't they have some background before they came here?
Yeah, they're doing a 14 to 19 diploma, which gives them a good understanding of what's required before they actually get a job.
And has it worked?
Well, I think so. Because when they arrived on Monday, they had a good understanding of what was to be expected. Of course, we both know in reality it's different on the front line, but at least they got some basic grounding.
Well, the real reason I know they're here is because I'm hearing good things from the rest of the staff.
Oh, good.
Edna, in particular, was almost enthusiastic about the way they're fitting in. Not quite praise, you understand, but a glimmer of warmth.
Well, mentoring the students is a good development opportunity for her, so it's good to hear there's some warmth. She's right, of course. They're exactly the sort of young people we need if we're to meet the growing demand for decent support workers around here. I mean, Suzanne, she's a lovely, lovely young woman, and she's really mature for 15. She's got endless patience, and I have to say, it was a bit surreal watching her join the knitting circle this morning. I mean, apparently her mother's a knitting fanatic, so she helped Martha finish that cardigan she's knitting for her granddaughter.
Good work. And the lad?
We're always saying that we need more men in our sector, and I think we've unearthed a natural in young Eddie. He listens to what's being said, he's quick to learn, and he's got really good rapport with the residents. I watched him doing a memory box with Madeline. He spent over an hour chatting away to her and looking through her old pictures. It's good that he's local, because I think he was as interested in what the town used to look like as she was in remembering her family.
So, 2 new recruits, maybe?
One, I think. Suzanne seems focused on doing a nursing degree.
Right.
But if she does her advanced apprenticeship at level 3, she's likely to reduce her degree programme by a full year to recognise her practical experience. I do hope she ends up working in a nursing home like this at some point in her career. But Eddie is a definite, I think. I mean, he's already told me he doesn't want to go into full-time education, but he wants something with decent career prospects.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I think so. Possible apprentice?
Exactly. I love apprenticeships. And quite frankly, if we get someone who we're pretty certain will complete it, then it's going to help with our staff retention rates and consistency of support to the residents.
Not good on that front?
Well, according to our NMDSSC returns, we are doing better than the average, but we could be doing a lot better, especially as it costs us £3 a shot to find and train a new member of staff. And that doesn't take into account the pressure of trying to get staff cover.
Well, I think Eddie is a real candidate for apprenticeship then.
Yeah. Just a shame we have to wait till he's 18 before we can offer him something.
Why?
Come on. We can't offer him personal care as part of the job. What's the point of offering him half a job?
I thought we'd discussed this. The regulations have changed around what 16 to 18-year-olds can do. And as long as Eddie is properly supervised and given the right training around all areas of the job, then he can do everything his colleagues can do. Let's be clear, personal care is only a small part of the job. And Eddie has the people skills we want, so let's have a think about how we can go about it.
OK. Well, as you know, I've been speaking to the Skills for Care employer champion, who tells me that completion rates are shooting up for apprenticeships across our sector.
I don't think Eddie will be a problem on that score.
Look, Val, we can't be certain of anything. As you and I know, the day-to-day realities of a full-time job can be very different. But the reason I like apprenticeships so much is that they add a real structure to young people's work and study. For Eddie, it'll be perfect, as most of the work he'll do as part of his apprenticeship will be hands-on with some college work as well, which is just the balance he's looking for.
Can we afford it?
Well, can we afford not to is the real question. I was told again by the local Skills for Care employer champion that funding for this age group is still available. So, quite frankly, our contribution will be well worth it if we can get someone good like Eddie. I think some employers make the mistake of thinking that apprenticeships are just cheap labour, but I know only too well that it properly requires time, effort and structure, which I think we've now got in place. Yeah. In fact, I can see Eddie being a candidate for an advanced apprenticeship, which will really position him for a long-term career with us.
OK, so good quality candidate, check. Funding, check. What about Eddie getting some qualifications?
There's good news there too, as Eddie could be our first apprentice on the qualifications and credit framework.
Oh, the QCF. You're such a born-again advocate for the QCF, aren't you?
As always, a critical friend. But since the QCF went live at the start of the year, I must admit I've been impressed by how well it's working for our staff and the range of qualifications on offer. I think Eddie would enjoy the flexible nature of a Level 2 Health and Social Care diploma. I can see him working towards an activities coordinator qualification, which will not only be good for the residents, but will also give him a competence unit which really reflects his job role. And even more amazingly, the funding is guaranteed by government for his age group, so once again, our contribution to the cost should be manageable.
John, it all sounds like a lot of work, though. Are we sure about offering Eddie an apprenticeship?
Val, it is hard work, but it'll be worth it. Eddie's a good lad with huge potential. So an apprenticeship will give him vocational structure that will suit his needs, as well as working towards industry standard qualifications. Plus, according to a Skills for Care leaflet I was reading somewhere, qualifications help employers like us retain staff. So on a cynical level, if we do get to keep him, then our investment will pay off.
Ah, the old cynic is back.
Well, perhaps, or maybe it's just self-interest. But it is a risk, Val, but on this occasion I think it's a calculated one, a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, me too. OK, well, I guess the next step is to speak to his careers advisor and tell him we're interested in offering Eddie an apprenticeship.
Great. I think Eddie obviously needs to talk to his parents and have a good think himself about whether this is the route he wants to go down. But I think we should go for it. And you know what, Val? I shall leave it to you to pass on the good news.
A pleasant task for once. I like spreading good news, especially when it helps raise our profile with the spin-off that staff advertising costs will be reduced.
Indeed. And I know sometimes good news can seem a bit rare, but on this occasion I truly think everyone will win.
Yeah, well, I'll go and have a chat with him, see what he thinks.
Great. I'm sure Edna will be delighted that Eddie will be part of the team, even though no doubt she'll never show it.
No.